Hi, I'm Sharer from Second Shuffle, and we are very excited to bring you a new feature for Dominion Online, a timer. Over the years, many members of the Dominion community have expressed their desire to play with a timer, and we're thrilled to finally be able to offer one. Even if you aren't one of the players who've wanted a timer, we think there's a good chance this will be an upgrade to your Dominion Online experience. Our goal in developing the timer is to allow players who prefer to play at a relaxed pace to continue to be able to do so, while also eliminating abusive slow play and providing options for players who want to play at faster paces. To that end, we've introduced 4 timer options, each representing a different pace of play. These options are included in the auto match settings. You can see them up here at the top. They're also available in custom table settings. You can see them down here at the bottom. You can see detailed information about the timer settings by clicking the blue I next to timer here at the table, as well as on the auto match page. But to summarize, patient is the slowest setting and is a very relaxed pace designed primarily to eliminate abusive slow play. If you're stressed by the idea of playing with a timer, this is a good place to start, as you'll almost certainly find that you don't need to adjust your pace of play for patient. Friendly is the middle ground for the standard settings, which are patient, friendly, and hasty. If you find most of your games are at an acceptable pace, but occasionally run into players who play at a painfully slow pace without meaning to be abusive, friendly is probably a good setting for you. Most players still shouldn't need to adjust their pace of play for friendly. Hasty is the fastest of the standard settings. If you're the kind of player who frequently finds their opponents play slower than you'd prefer, this is probably a good setting for you. Finally, reckless is a very fast, non-standard setting. For those of you who've wanted to play Blitz Dominion, this is your chance. Almost everyone will have to adjust their pace of play to keep up with reckless. As a non-standard setting, Reckless comes with its own leaderboard for both 2 and 3 to 4 players, as you can see here. The standard leaderboard incorporates all 3 of patient, friendly, and hasty. When queuing for auto match, you can select multiple timer settings. As you can see, patient and friendly are selected by default. The fastest setting that you and your opponents have selected will be used. If your time runs out in a timed game, you will be automatically resigned, unless you're playing on patient. On patient, your opponent will get a prompt allowing them to force you to resign, similar to the current 4-minute decision timer. Now let's start a game with the timer on. We'll start with patient, as we expect this is where many players will prefer to start. When you first load into a game, the log will display what the timer setting is. You can see that here at the top. Additionally, the timer setting will be displayed in the status bar until both players have clicked Start Game. So you can see that here, and I'll go ahead and click Start Game. By default, there are multiple timer displays, one in each player bar, so you can see that down here as well as up here for me and for my opponent, and one in the status bar, again here in the center. You can configure this display using the options menu in the lower right. As you can see, you can set the timer view to just the player bar, which hides it from the status bar. Similarly, you can set it to just the status bar, which hides it from the player bar. You can also set the timer to only show when your time is running low. And finally, you can turn off the timer display entirely. For now, I'll turn both of the timer views back on. As you can see, I've spent what might seem like a significant amount of my time bank already. About a third of it has ticked down. However, this is a normal thing to do at the start of a game, and it's not a problem. I can build my time bank back up within a few turns just through normal play. So we'll do that. We'll suppose that we've been looking at this board and trying to decide what our opening is going to be and what our strategy is going to be. And we see ninja, so we probably want to play with that. We see pickaxe for trashing. We probably want to play with that. let's say that we go ahead and open with a ninja. And let's say we're thinking about some different things, but maybe we just keep it simple and take a silver to try to get to pickaxe. And our opponent banquets for pickaxe, yeah, another option for sure. We play our ninja, we hit 3 again, because we saw all 3 of our estates. A little unfortunate that. So next turn, we're probably going to have 4 coins because we're expecting to get attacked. So maybe we decide we need another silver. And now, this board doesn't really have too much for me to talk about here, but I guess I'll take another silver. Okay, and now we can play our ninja. And we can buy a pickaxe. And as you can see here, I've already refilled my time bank within the first handful of turns. So that's not going to be a problem either to think at the beginning of the game or to think throughout the game at critical moments. You may have also noticed that there are sometimes 2 different time displays, one in white and one in green. The white one just finished ticking down. Every time you make a decision, you'll receive a small amount of free decision time. So we can show that off by making a decision. So let's say we decide we want to buy Scouting Party. We'll do that. And as you can see, the white time starts ticking down. This time doesn't get added to your time bank, but also doesn't draw your time bank down while it's ticking. The display for this free decision time is on by default, but you can turn it off in the options menu here. So if I now make another decision, so I'm going to discard for my Scouting Party. And you can see that the white time is no longer ticking, but my green time was not ticking for a little while, as that was invisibly ticking in the background. One important thing to note is that undos will not grant any additional time. So I'm going to turn the decision time back on to show that off. So we'll go ahead and play my ninja. And then, so if I play my treasures, I can undo auto-playing my treasures, but that doesn't affect the time ticking down, nor does it restore any of the time. So if I play them again, undo them again, you don't get any free decision time from that, nor does your time bank refill. This is one of the primary ways that the timer addresses abusive behavior. Now let's take a look at Reckless. Go ahead and change the timer setting to Reckless. We expect that for the vast majority of players, the vast majority of the time, the other 3 timer settings will feel like normal Dominion, with the presence of the timer mostly an afterthought. We do not expect or want Reckless to feel like normal Dominion. We want it to feel like a Blitz mode. That being said, during testing, we've seen players successfully play challenging and complex decks. So we're excited to see what people are able to accomplish with this new mode. Now that we're on the faster timer, this is a good opportunity to show off the visible when low setting. So I'm going to turn that on, and as you can see now, my timer is no longer visible. But if we wait just a little bit, it will pop back up. There it is. And you may have noticed that it's changed colors. It's now yellow. Your time bank will always start green, indicating that you have a good amount of time remaining. As it decreases, it will eventually become yellow and then red, as you can see now. And this indicates that your time is running low. If you set the timer to visible when low, it will display only when it's yellow or red, as you could see just there. And now I have timed out because Reckless is fast and it took longer to explain that than I had available. So we're going to go ahead and play another game here, and I'm just going to really quickly turn that back on. And let's see. We'll start with maybe a cargo ship. And how about a star chart? Top deck the cargo ship. And grab a recruiter. And we can... I shouldn't have clicked on that. That was a waste of my reckless time, for sure. Anyway, let's grab, I don't know, a trail. Trail seems like a good card to have on this board, and we can use it to cycle a little bit. Top deck that recruiter. Opponent hits 5 and gets a Highwayman. Makes some sense. We also hit 5. Let's follow and get a Highwayman. So the good news here is that we've got the star chart, so we can top deck our recruiter and trash another estate. Did not draw the Highwayman, but maybe we'll take one more recruiter, cargo ship that, and let's put this trail on top. So I guess I don't know of the people who are watching this, how many of them will have seen any of my Dominion videos, but I am definitely playing faster than I normally would if I were playing at my preferred pace. But as you can see, this mode is generally playable, even if it's a bit intense. And I'm probably already making mistakes. Like, is Highway even good on this board? Maybe it's not. Oh. Apparently, I don't have another trail. I thought I did. Whoops. I guess we're going to need a gold. Anyway, I think this should give you a rough idea of how Reckless plays. I've been talking enough to run down my timer to about half. Lemon Spawn has managed to retain more time. So yeah, I think we can probably stop here, but suffice to say that I have some work to do in terms of playing this mode effectively. In any case, that's all for this demonstration. The timer will launch this Thursday, February 19th at 18 UTC, which is 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. We look forward to hearing your feedback. Thank you for watching and for supporting the website.